Sitting quietly, I focus on my breathing, inhaling the gift of the present moment. As my breathing slows down, I feel that the tightness of my muscles loosen up and the tensions of the body are carried away as I breathe out. I feel relaxed and truly comfortable. Relaxed and comfortable. I observe that my thoughts are also slowing down. Waste thoughts of the past and future slowly fading and carried away as I breathe out. I bring my attention at the center of my forehead, where I, the soul, reside. I am a child of my Father, God. Like Him, I am immortal. My qualities are like His. He gives me every strength to be able to soar high. He ignites my wings of zeal and enthusiasm to stand still amidst stormy weather and rocky roads. He looks at me with a divine vision. He helps me clean up the mess in my eyes, and I am able to rediscover and look at once again my perfect image. My Father God, my one support, You have instilled truth in my intellect. I am never deceived with life's downturns, nor shaken by any outside force. I have been anchored in You, my one support. My Father God, my one strength, my one support. I am truly lucky to be Your child. Om Shanti.
This week, we set our eyes on our fathers and the role they play in the rearing of their children. While the world has put much weight on the role of mothers in child rearing, I have been on the dissenting side of this issue because I have always held that fathers have just as big a role to play in the growth and advancement of humankind. I don't really know when I realized I had a father. That was a very long time ago. My three brothers were noisy and big. I very faintly remember that there was someone helping me drink milk from a tiny cup. chasing every drop that strayed into my chin with a napkin while he spoke in a lilting tone with me. Then he gave me oatmeal from a teeny-weeny spoon dipped in a tiny china bowl. He talked to me in the friendliest of tones, always pleased when I finished my bowl full. That was every morning. Then he would go away, leaving a kiss on my cheeks as he said goodbye. Thus he taught me how to wave goodbye to Papa. During the day, I was talked to and fed again, and then put to bed by someone who told me that she was my mama. Then she made me sleep, and when I woke up, she fed me again. It seemed like that was all I did, eat. After some time, it became dark all around and lights were turned on in the house. My papa would arrive. He picked me up after he had changed into his house clothes, and then he'd play with me. He told me stories, and sometimes he would sing. He kissed me a lot, and I liked it very much when he would toss me into the air, and I giggled when I landed on his sturdy hands. We were always busy, the two of us. Later, they told me I had a sister, but our friendship went on, including my little sister. There were 3 of us playing then. Sometime later, they told us that we had a brother coming, and we were happy that our play group grew bigger. Then, one day, they brought home another sister for us. That was when my papa said I had to be a good girl so that my brother and my sisters would also be good, especially because one day our mama fell asleep and we were told after we took her in a big box to the cemetery, she will not come home with us anymore. That was true. We only had our papa to wait for every night. When he came at night, we listened to what we told him about what we did during the day. He also told us what happened in his work. After our supper, there was always something to do. We sang, recited our poems, and we talked about our classmates and teachers. Sometimes, Papa would put out his violin and play his favorite kundimans, which he asked us to learn so we could sing as he played. Later, we learned to dance the pandango as he played. We were never shy. When his work took him to faraway mountains, he took us with him, never mind if we had to walk many kilometers uphill because he was still building the road to the camp where his house would be. Before we even met the men he worked with, we already knew their names. He taught us to be polite and respectful towards all the people who worked with him, even if they did not speak Tagalog or English, which were our spoken languages at home. We had to learn the dialects and languages that they spoke. This has been to our advantage because it enriched our lives, and we know the topography of our country because of the kind of work that he did. One important part of my life with my papa was that he gave us a stepmother who took very good care of us, as any mother should. She gave us 2 sisters and a brother to grow up and play with. This is a very dear segment in the history of our clan because we grew in number. We acquired new aunts and uncles and cousins and a grandfather too. Looking back, I can honestly say that we have been fortunate because our life was full of experiences which many families do not know at all. When we had difficulties with our studies or our jobs, or even in our relationships with others then, there was my father with his patient listening ear, sometimes sharing an opinion or two, helping us wade through the details and cheering with us when we experienced our little victories. This man, my father, my papa, was a dear person. He was highly capable. Having trained as a civil engineer here and abroad, he dealt with heavy equipment and led teams of brawny men. He took us along on his trips when the circumstances allowed them. He was forthright with his superiors and his equals, but when he dealt with his men and their families, he had the right deference and tone of voice for each of them. He did not make any person feel he was beneath him in stature, whether at work or in the streets. Of course, we had problems as a family, especially impetuous me. He was proud of all of us, his 10 children. He made us choose the careers we wanted and supported us all the way. And when he became a grandfather, we discovered a tender side of his persona. He was ever affectionate with even the littlest member of our clan, so far from what he was when he would be directing the unloading of a boatload of logs from a truck into the log pond. My grandmother said my father was born on a Palm Sunday. That's why they named him Domingo. This Domingo, however, was a man who made every Sunday and Easter for all that he met and dealt with. I loved him and I still do. He is my hero, as God, our Father in heaven, meant him to be. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
I turn my attention inwards. I open my heart to God and bring into focus the understanding of myself as a being of light, non-physical and eternal. As I experience the reality of who I am freed from the pool of matter. My thoughts went into the comforting and secure feelings of love for the divine. I see the special value in relating to God as my spiritual father, my one strength and one support. I create an inner conversation and loving experience with my Supreme Father. Then I become equipped with emotional resources needed to stay strong in the face of life's adversities, not only from external circumstances of chaos, but most especially from my internal struggles of doubts and insecurities. As a Supreme Father, God is like the sun, radiating the energy of truth, helping me grow with the creative power of His being, and with the serene atmosphere of the early morning, I feel His warmth and light awakening me, pushing away the shadows of my body consciousness fears, doubts, and pain are all transformed into courage, faith, and joy, charging the battery of truth within me. His power altruistically shines into my being, protecting, guiding, and strengthening me. Om Shanti.